For Financial Literacy Month, PCN, in partnership with the Pennsylvania Bankers Association, presents Financial Insights.
We're joined today by Duncan Campbell, President and CEO of the Pennsylvania Bankers Association. Today we're going to talk about earning, which is one of the 5 pillars of financial literacy. Can you help define exactly what does earning mean? When somebody says earning, I would think typically of what you bring home in your paycheck.
Sure. Well, good day, Francine. Thank you for having us. April is Financial Literacy Month, so it's an appropriate topic for us to be talking about. When we talk about earning, you think about whether you're a salaried worker or a wage earner, basically what you're able to bring home to be able to spend and to be able to save. You put up the 5 pillars earlier, but as we look at financial literacy, earning is that first pillar. It leads to your ability to spend. Our lifestyles require spending, right? You also then look at your pillars of saving and investing, your pillar of borrowing and into protection. And we'll talk about those throughout the course of our time here. But earning is really what you're able to bring home. It's very important that you're able to look at your paycheck and be able to see, do you have the right deductions? Have you set up, through your W-4 with your work, your employer, because at tax time you go and you find out if you need to pay a bill, you want to be able to know that you've had the right deductions set up, and there's all sorts of payroll deductions and exemptions that can be offered. But that's for earning, the ability to have a job or a way to accrue income. That earning is very, very key to all of our financial literacy. You can also have other types of earning through investment income and things like that. But for the most part, it's looking at your ability to bring home income to be able to sustain your lifestyle.
Before we get too deep into our conversation, can you explain for our viewers what is the Pennsylvania Bankers Association?
Sure, thank you. So Pennsylvania Bankers Association is a trade association representing banks of all sizes that do business in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. We've been around since 1895. We offer advocacy on behalf of the banking industry in Pennsylvania, trainings, programming, member resources around diversity, equity, inclusion, and workforce training, things like that, cybersecurity. We also offer products and services. On behalf of the Pennsylvania banking industry, I'd like to just say that the banking industry is a very strong industry in Pennsylvania. Our community bank sector, our regional banks, our larger banks, so I'm honored to represent them every day, and I can just tell you they're very well capitalized, have a very strong and supported business models, and do have a diversification of their customer base, very active in their communities. You don't go to a Memorial Day parade or see a United Way campaign or a baseball uniform that doesn't have some sort of banking support. And I think that's a key point, that our industry is able to work within that community for their customers. Financial literacy is at the key of what we do. And we also saw during the pandemic, I think we were able to see that across Pennsylvania and across the country and in the world, the support that the banking industry was able to give to especially to our small businesses through Paycheck Protection Program. I think there were about 273,000 loans made, and that's about $30.7 billion in investment for the small business to allow us to keep the economy going in Pennsylvania. So very proud of the work that our industry has done.
You serve as President and CEO of the Pennsylvania Bankers Association. What does that role entail?
So a little bit of everything. Try to offer the strategic guidance to our staff, working with our board of directors and our officers. A lot of the advocacy, a lot of the effort to be able to speak on behalf of the industry and to be able to speak of all the good that our members do in their communities and in for their customers. We get into the advocacy in Washington and Harrisburg. Then a lot of the professional development. We're training the next leaders of the industry through various training programs and education, and just being out working with other leaders of the business community.
Can you talk a little bit more about the role that banks serve in their communities?
Sure. No, I think as you look at, and I would encourage your viewers to obviously, if they are looking for a relationship, to look to their local banks. we look at our industry as the backbone and the anchor of the local community. The financial investment that is managed and made within the community, but to be able to really help support, as I mentioned, during the pandemic, but in steady state, to be able to be the anchor of the local community. Our bankers are on the local chamber boards, they're on the local United Way boards, they're on the local not-for-profits, and I would just mention that without that support in these communities, I'm not sure who would fill that void. So I'm very proud of the efforts that our members and the full industry makes on a daily basis in their local communities.
Now, as we're talking about earning, one aspect that we can talk about a little bit, workplaces offer matching retirement savings at times. Can you talk a little bit about the impact that has on what somebody's total earnings actually are, and also how do they see those deductions in the paycheck that they bring home every week or two?
Sure, thank you. Get back to the one of the pillars of saving and investing we talk about on financial literacy. I know we look at retirement. I'm at a stage in my life where I'm looking at kids' education as well as retirement savings, and the 401k is a great vehicle, and there are other investment vehicles for retirement that I would encourage our viewers to look at. But on the 401k side, in many cases, employers are able to offer a 401k match, and what happens is you're able to take that deduction, pre-tax, and so it actually has an impact on your taxable income, and definitely would encourage everyone to look at that. The savings and the future retirement, everything that we're looking at around financial literacy, like I said before, is connected. If your employer is offering that 401k, definitely encourage you to take that at the maximum, both for your retirement purpose, but also could help you with your take-home pre-tax income and your salary.
Are there any general guidelines or things that people should consider when they're determining how much of their own money they should set aside for retirement savings?
The rule of thumb is as much as you possibly can, and we all have bills to pay. We all have our budgets that we're trying to meet on a daily basis, but there's I was told at an early age, pay yourself first, right, if you have the chance, and that to me meant put that money aside. My father insisted after my first job at 22, 23 to be able to go out and put money aside for retirement. And I thank him. That enabled me to be able to get a mortgage at an earlier age because I had some that investment to be able to pull from and not get a huge tax hit there. But to be able to go in and have that retirement savings is so important for all of us. So I would just say, as much as you possibly can, understanding that you have bills to pay and you have to manage your own budget.
What can people do to increase their earning potential?
Well, education is probably at the heart of that. I've got 16 and 12-year-old sons. My 16-year-old brought home his first paycheck this summer. Very proud of him for that. And as I look at financial literacy, it's never too early to start understanding the importance of that financial impact on your financial health, your well-being. Our banks are in the schools, in the middle schools and grade schools. We have something called Teach Children to Save Day, and also Get Smart About Credit that our members and our banks across the Commonwealth and across the country really are getting into the schools. I've had the pleasure of going to various schools across the Commonwealth and having those discussions on the importance of savings, the importance of investing. But as you look at how we can better ourselves, Governor Ridge, I work with, he used to have a saying, "All work has dignity," and that's true. And I've remembered that, and I believe in that. And so whether you're working for a trade, if you're working for yourself, whatever that employment is, if there's an opportunity to better yourself, to be able to go get another certificate, to be able to go back to school because you're not maybe earning that full potential that you think you can, I would encourage our viewers and all Pennsylvanians, all individuals, to be able to really think through what that is that they can do. I know Governor Shapiro just came out as one of the first things he did as governor to say you don't need a 4-year education for many of these state jobs, and I think in and of itself that helps improve earning potential for a large sect of Pennsylvanians. So I think just being able to, knowing your situation, knowing where you are, education is not the end-all be-all, but it surely is helpful to ensuring that you're reaching your maximum potential.
What guidance would you give a high school student who's considering their future career and earnings potential?
Encourage them to know that there are plenty of opportunities. There are many industries and there are many opportunities, whether that's, like I said, learning a trade, going on to 4-year college, doing a 2-year degree program, going to the military. There's great opportunities available to all students that are looking to go forward in their life. The banking industry, we would invite them to consider the banking industry. We feel we have great opportunities, and you don't have to be a finance major or an accounting major to go into banking. That's one of probably the misunderstood points out there. You can be in IT, you can be interested in human resources, you can be interested in public relations, communications. There's a wide gamut of opportunities that banks would invite individuals into to starting a career with them. We are working on an internship program with Shippensburg University and the state system of higher education, and really to emphasize that point that if you're interested in a career in banking, you don't have to be a finance major in order to pursue that career.
Can you tell us a little bit more about this internship program?
Sure. We started this last year with Shippensburg. We had a couple of our banks involved. It's an opportunity for Shippensburg, and now expanded to the full state system, to be able to look and partner with the banking community to encourage students in the system, and we'll look to expand that even further, to be able to understand that they have a career in banking, or that they have that invitation and opportunity. And again, notwithstanding their major, they can be run the gamut of, like I said, HR to IT to communications. We would love traditional banking and finance majors and accounting majors too. But I don't need to tell you that there are workforce issues right now to where getting folks to come into all of our industries. I think there's an interest and a commitment from our industry to invite that, and working with Shippensburg and the other state system schools, we think there's an opportunity to bring a more concerted effort towards understanding the banking industry, across the board. We'll have an externship program as part of this, so a week in the bank, just a week long, as well as working to support our member institutions that are interested in developing an internship program and being able to tap into that talent from across the full Commonwealth.
What do you see as the greatest benefits of working in the banking industry?
No, the people. I get to see it every day. Our banks make dreams come true for their customers, their communities. I know going through the pandemic was a hard time for everyone, but the Paycheck Protection Program turned out to be a lifeline to many small businesses. I mentioned $30.7 billion of investment into small businesses in Pennsylvania alone. But I know there are stories from talking with our bankers of making that call to their customer and hearing them cry on the other end that they were about to lay off their workforce, and the amount of pain and anguish that was saved through the ability for us to support that. And I think that's what banks do. That's why they're here. They're here to help their communities thrive, be that anchor we talked about earlier, but to be able to support individuals who are interested in financial literacy. I can't emphasize enough that there's a responsibility on the individual to understand what financial literacy should mean, but that there are people in their banks, advisors, their banks that are willing to help and wanting to help them understand that journey from earning to spending again, to savings and investment, to borrowing, and then on to protecting.
What do you see as the core principles of working in the banking industry?
Well, the core principle, just for our bankers, is to be able to make a difference in their community. I really believe that. I think the impact that our bankers in the industry makes in their local communities with their individual customers. Again, I don't know that we have we don't have the strong economy that we have. We don't have the small business community. We don't have the lending. We don't have the deposit. We don't have all that without having a concerted and committed banking industry in Pennsylvania.
If someone's considering a job somewhere in the banking industry, regardless of the facet, what kind of basic educational background would you recommend?
Yeah, again, there's so many careers in banking that you can have a wide swath of education. Obviously handling cash. It'd be good to be around. To have an understanding of cash management. But you can learn that. The banks are training. We have a training program in Philadelphia and in Pittsburgh. We're looking at hopefully bringing that to Central Pennsylvania called BankWorks or CareerWorks. This is a program it's a national program that we partnered with the National on bringing that to Philadelphia and Pittsburgh, and like I said, hopefully to Central PA. It's 8 weeks of training for individuals that really don't have to have any knowledge of the banking industry, but it's an opportunity to give someone the impetus to start a career rather than just have a job. So you have really great stories of people that didn't think that banking could be for them, going through this training program, coming through it, and then having acceptance from the banks in that area to be able to interview them and hopefully make them an offer on the spot. So it's a really great program. We're honored to be part of it. But back to your question of what do you need to know, banks have really good training ability and able to train their employees. Having some basic education would be helpful, but it's not necessary. But high school education, but also to go into that next level, to go to college and to basically have, whether it's a degree in accounting or finance, again, not necessary if you want to get into the IT world, banks and cybersecurity. We can talk about that for a sec, but the amount of time and commitment that our banks put behind protecting the savings and everything that we talk about, that protection pillar that I know you'll talk about later in the series. Protection pillar is so important, and the amount of time and effort and resources that banks put in to protecting their customers' savings and treasure is to be commended.
Since you referred a moment ago to the BankWorks program, can you just talk a little bit more about the real-world impact it's had on communities in need? Sure.
No, this is a program that we're again very, very pleased to be part of, and we've been able to see. I went to the first graduation back in 17, 18, and for individuals that just didn't think banking could be a career for them, and I'm talking not 20 or 25-year-olds, but 35, 45-year-old, 55-year-old people that it's never too late to start that career. But the impact on the individual, the impact on our banks are looking to develop that talent and to be able to have access to some a cadre of potential bankers that have gone through this training, and to be able to understand some about banking, but also understand some about business, right? And so you are getting, you're inheriting an employee, or you're acquiring an employee, you're hiring an employee who has 8 weeks of really strong training that's going to make a difference for that institution.
Since we began our discussion talking about earning, can you just tell us a little bit more about some of the resources that banks offer to help advise their clients on how they can make the best use of their savings and budgeting?
Yeah, no, I would definitely encourage, like I said, encourage your viewers and our individuals in Pennsylvania to go see and sit down with their bank, build a plan. Come with your questions. Come with your questions about okay, here's my budget, here's my take home. What can I truly be doing? How should I be looking at investing this this amount of money, whatever that is. How do I work at retirement and make sure that I'm preparing for retirement? I know individuals that are well past where they should be and not even thinking about retirement, and that's just not. It's not. I hope that we don't have that many people in this Commonwealth that are doing that. But at the end of the day, to be able to seek your bank and to seek that advice, a lot of advisory services in that regard. The banks want to be your partner and want to help you support whatever your needs are at that time of your financial journey.
Do you have any final thoughts that you'd like to leave our viewers with?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for raising this topic around financial literacy. We're honored to partner with PCN and be part of this series. I mentioned April is Financial Literacy Month, and just want to emphasize that our bankers are in the community. They're in the schools. This isn't just about school-age children either. There's a lot around financial literacy for our older adults, and especially I'm thinking of family members who, are at a stage where people are preying upon their generosity, and this gets back to the protection piece. But I know we've been working on elder exploitation legislation in Pennsylvania for going on a decade here, and wanting to just be able to give our bankers the tools to when they see something that looks like that exploitation, be able to stop that transaction. So, I look at my kids. I've got, like I said, 16 and 12-year-old boys that both have a bank account. I encourage everyone to have an account. There are great products available. There's a Bank On program that we can answer any question around, but Bank On is intended to offer banking accounts and services for individuals that don't maybe underbanked or unbanked. In general, just encourage everyone to be aware of this financial literacy need, be aware of their savings, their ability to invest. You're going to hear these topics, but to be able to borrow, and it's all connected. But be aware of your earnings. If you look at earnings specifically, take a look at your W-4 form. Take a look at your deductions. Take a look at your take-home pay, and take a look at that net against your gross, and see if there's ways that you can look at that earnings in a way to maximize what you're then able to put into the other pillars. But no, just thank you for having me, and look forward to further discussion.
We've been speaking with Duncan Campbell, President and CEO of the Pennsylvania Bankers Association. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Financial Insights is a presentation of PCN and sponsored by the Pennsylvania Bankers Association.